the war with Russia. And the name of Japheth or Japheth, which is also called Jehoshaphat, and could mean that E's holy mountain is exceedingly great and that E is exceeding rich and comely. And the E's Japheth valley are the flat lands that was allotted to the first son of Noah after the deluge that killed the giants who were the sons of old God Godriel on the fourth day after E's creation. And it is believed that the sons of Japheth settled in the northeast countries of Russia and that they are presently there today. And the lands of Japheth now include some 26 states which are flowing together, and is what make Russia so large. And all they lands they stretch across the vast land mass of the continent of what is parts of Europe, and is what is called Russia today. Friends, the lands that were allotted to the sons of Japheth, and that was settled in the north and the east of Europe is what make up the lands of Japheth, and is what is now what we today called modern Russia. Here is the prophecy from Noah, Genesis 9:27, and the sovereign one shall enlarge Japheth and shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and in the land of Canaan, and Shem shall be E's servants. So the Russians are the sons of Japheth, and they are the descendants of Japheth, and their land is made up of many different nations which were from all the sons of Japheth, or Japheth. 1 Chronicles 1:5 And they are all sons of Japheth, from Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshech and Tiras. 1 Chronicles 1:6 And from the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Rephath, and Togarmah. 1 Chronicles 1:7 And the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and the Dardanims or Dodanims, who are believed to be also called Rhodes, and many others. The Japheth valley or the valley of Jehoshaphat, I believe is the bursting of an alliance or it is the division between some of the countries that make up a large nation, like those of Japheth or Japheth, or those that are in close proximity of a large nation such as with the case of Taiwan and China or Russia and Ukraine or Crimea, and also like what is happening presently in Ukraine and Russia, which is the border country with Russia, especially when both countries are interrelated. And then a rift or a bursting comes between both countries, which the Bible called a valley for some reason or the other. So a mountain could be a symbolization of a kingdom or a large country or a nation that is on a large continent. Or it could very well be a very large nation, like that of Russia. And when there is a conflict within its neighboring counterpart, then this could be termed or worded as a valley, in this case the valley or the conflict with Russia and with Ukraine, or a conflict which might be between China and Taiwan, or a conflict with two nations that are at war, especially when the other side do not want to come or go, or in a case where one do not want to unite with the other peaceably. Then they might be at war, or there would be a war between the two which could prove disastrous. And when this happens many people would be uprooted. And many people will lose their lives, and many will suffer hardships, and this is what, I believe is the biblical term, for, in the valley or what can be worded as in the valley. And in the conflict or the war of Japheth or Japheth or Jehoshaphat. And also the same might be apply with the valley of Megiddo, which is called a valley or war or conflict with Israel and the Arabs of Palestine, and so on. Friends, if this is the valley of Japheth or Japheth or the valley of Jehoshaphat, that the Bible speaks about, this could prove to be a very serious conflict which could end up with the sovereign of the heavens and the earth coming down to the earth to intervene. And believe would be the case with the war of the Jehoshaphat or Japheth or Japheth, this war with Russia. And in the Bible, Jehoshaphat was the king of Yada. That many of the surrounding nations them surrounded at that time when they form a confederacy against him, and this was when the sovereign one of heaven interceded. And all the nation them that went up against him had a quarrel amongst themselves. And they fought amongst themselves. And they destroyed one another. And this was a momentous occasion for the people of Yada. And the king Japheth, better known as Jehoshaphat, when the holy sovereign king of heaven delivered the confederacy of all the nations them into their hands, and into the hands of the sons of Japheth. Friends, let us fast forwards to today's war in Ukraine. Friends, if this is the fulfillment of the prophecy of the war of the valley of Jehoshaphat or Japheth, or the Japheth war, there is a stark similarity, in which there might be some dire consequences to this world and to the nations them that are in this confederacy. And for all the people in this world, and for all that are assembled against the nation of Japheth or Japheth, whom I believe to be Russia, whom is a descendant of Japheth. And this war might have serious devastating consequences for the allied forces of the world, of none the like which we have not seen in decades. Especially if there is nuclear weapons or weapons of mass destruction which might be used. Because only the sovereign of heaven can stop this war. And the Holy Sovereign may indeed intervene, and the Holy Sovereign King of all the heavens and the earth might just decide to come and judge these wicked people and also ease world from being destroyed with their WMDs. Friends, on a second thought, this might be the very prophecy of Elu'hymn. From the book of Joel, here is the quote, Joel 3:1, and you shall behold in the end time, and in those days there shall be tribulations in the world, and more so, in the end time. And when these signs are happening, then I Elu'hymn shall return, and I shall bring again all the captives from out of captivity, even the captives of Judah and Israel, to my holy Jerusalem. Joel 3:2, and I Elu'hymn will also gather all the nations them to fight, and I will bring them down into the valley of Japheth or Japheth, which is better known as Jehoshaphat or Jehoshaphat valley, or war with Japheth. And I Elu'hymn will judge them there for taking my people, them captive, and for being in my borders, and for taking their land, and for taking the inheritance of the people of Israel, whom the heads of Babylon took. When they took them captive, and they scattered them among the other nations them, when they parted E's land. Joel 3:3, and afterward they all cast lots for my people, and they took the girls for themselves and also to be given for harlots. And they also sold the boys for wine, so that they may get drunk. Joel 3:4, O Babylon, what have you done to my land and with my inheritance? And with the children of Yada, and the Israelites? O Tyre and Zidon, and Babylon with all the coasts of your palatinate. I Elu'hymn will recompense you. And I will render back to you all a recompense for all what you have done. And I Elu'hymn will recompense you for what you have done to my chosen people, and for all the things which you all have done. And I Elu'hymn will swiftly and speedily recompense you. And I will return a recompense to you, and a recompense upon your own heads. Joel 3:5, B. And because you have also taken my silver and my gold from my temple, and you have carried them into your temples, and also all my holy pleasant things, I Elu'hymn will return and come to recompense you all. Joel 3:6, and I will recompense you all for taking my silver and my gold from Jerusalem and from the children of Judah, whom is also called Yada, and whom you have sold to the Grecians, that they may remove them far away from their borders. Joel 3:7, and behold, I, Elu'hymn, will come, and I shall raise them up from out of the places wheresoever you have sold them, and I Elu'hymn will return them to their land. And I, Elu'hymn, will return your recompense upon your own heads. Joel 3:8, and I, Elu'hymn, will sell your sons and your daughters, and give them into the hands of the children of Yada, and they in turn shall sell them to the Sabaeans. And then they in turn shall go to a people far away from their coasts, thus says Elu'hymn, the sovereign of heaven, whom have spoken it. Joel 3:9, so, you proclaim this among the Gentiles, nation them, and you wake up the Medes, and you prepare war against Babylon, and you wake up the mighty men of the Medes. And you let all the men of war draw near, and let them come up to fight in the war with Japheth or Japheth, also called the valley of Jehoshaphat, and Jehoshaphat, and the war with the sons of Japheth, whom I believe is the country of Russia. Joel 3:10, and you let them beat their plowshares into swords, and their pruning hooks into spears. And let the weak say, I am strong. Joel 3:11, and let them assemble themselves. And let all of them gather themselves together and come up. And let all the heathen them also gather themselves together from all around and about, and let them come up together to the lands of Japheth, whom is called also Japheth, and let them come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat to fight in the land conflict, and with the Almighty, whom is the Holy One. Cause Elu'hymn, the Sovereign One shall come down from heaven to fight them all. Joel 3:12, so, let the heathen them be awakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, because I Elu'hymn will be there. And I Elu'hymn will sit to judge them all. Even all the heathen them that are around and about. Joel 3:13, so every one of you put in the sickle, for the harvest is now ripen, because Elu'hymn shall come. And he will be there to get rid of all of you all. So then Elu'hymn shall come down from heaven for the press. Because it shall be war. And the vats shall be full to the overflowing, because of the sins and the wickedness of old Gog God and Baal God, it is now very great. Joel 3:14, multitudes of people shall be in the valley of Japheth, also called Jehoshaphat, for Elu'hym's derision, and because it is the day of Elu'hym's judgment, and his coming is base, so let everyone who wants war draw near, because the end is come for all those who are in the valley of Jehoshaphat, and with the conflict with Russia, whom I believe could possibly be a descendant of the sons of Japheth. And then this could very well be the fulfillment of his prophecy that was spoken about by the prophet Joel, when the sovereign of heaven shall come at the gathering of the nations, and into the valley of Jehoshaphat for their destruction. Friends, if this conflict which is with Russia persists for more than a year or two, I believe that we all could see the sovereign of heaven coming down from heaven for sure to intervene, and to bring his salvation, and to reign in the nations them in the world at his coming. Joel 3:15, and then the sun and the moon they shall be darkened, and the stars they shall withdraw their shining. As his comet comes, or as there might be nuclear war in the heavens, as the nations of the world, they all resort to the fighting against the Holy Sovereign One, whom is called Elu'hymn. And the coming of Elu'hym's coming to set up his holy kingdom in the earth. Joel 3:16, because Elu'hymn, the sovereign, shall come for sure. And he shall reign from out of Zion. And he shall utter his voice from his holy mountain, Mount Zion. And the Elu'hym's new Jerusalem. And the heavens and the earth shall shake. Because Elu'hymn shall bring his salvation. And he, the Holy One, shall be the hope of his chosen people. And for all those that would call on the holy sacred name of Elu'hymn. And also the strength of all of his chosen people. Joel 3:17, and so shall they know that he is the Almighty, whom is the Sovereign One, and whom is now dwelling in Mount Zion, and in all of his holy Jerusalem. Friends, I am sorry if it appears that to you, that I may be a doomsday prophet. Because I am certainly not. But I do believe that the world has now come into a time and a place where it is now time for the sovereign of heaven to come and to recompense all the evil in the world. And also to stop all the corruption and the worship of Satan and the devil. And also to stop the deception of the Jesuits and the Jesuites. And also the unrighteousness and the iniquity of Babylon, and also all the evil and the heads that are in the world, and also all those of Babylon, and also that of the whore of Babylon, the church of Kisu, and also the Vatican and the Vatican City, and all the organization of idolatry and whoredom that is in the world, and also from the many different religious and non-religious sects in the churches and that is in the other places of worship, and even all those that are the organizations of lordolatry and idolatry that are in the world. And also all the abomination, and the idolatry and the lordolatry of Gog Gadriel, and Nomen Jesuit Judas Jesus that is in the world. Because very soon it would all be terminated. And according to the prophecy of Elu'hymn that was pronounced on the fallen watcher, whom is called Satan, and whom is called God, Satan would be reign in when the prophecy of Daniel is been fulfilled, which is, that 7 times shall pass over the watcher. Meaning 7,000 years shall go by, and it shall continue until he comes, and until Satan shall be defeated and is been punished once and for all. The 7 times prophecy, I believe, is the 7,000 years that was allotted to this world, which was declared to the prophet Daniel, and that was prophesied that would then pass over Satan in the world or at the end times of this world, and this would be the time that Satan would be allowed to wake up the men of war, and to gather the many nations of the world, in the 3 theaters. 1. The war with Japheth or the war with the Russians. 2. The Megiddo War, or the Valley of Megiddo, the war with the land of Israel or the nation of Israel whom is also a descendant of Japheth, and 3. The Armageddon War, the war against the Almighty for all the kingdoms of the world, and the war against Elu'hymn for the taking of Rome, which was before times called the city of Jerusalem, and now which is called Jerusalem. Because all the nations them in the world they all would be angry at the sovereign one, whom is called Elu, and Elu'hymn, and they all would try to prevent Elu'hymn from taking all the kingdoms of the world. And Satan would fight against the sovereign one, whom is the Holy One, at the coming of Elu'hymn, to take all the kingdoms of the world. But they all would be defeated, because he is the Almighty Sovereign King of the heavens and the earth. And all the nation in the world they would be angry, because the time of their rule is now come to an end. Revelation 11:18, and the nations them of the world they are now angry, because your kingdom is now come, and your wrath and judgment is now come. And also the time of the resurrection of the dead, and the time that they all should all be judged by you Elu'hymn, and that you should give them their reward, and also the time for you to give your rewards to all your servants them, and also to all of His prophets them, and also to all of His chosen people them, and also to all those that fears the holy name of Elu'hymn, whether they are small or great, and that you should now destroy those whom are destroying the earth. Friends, if you now believe in the holy sacred name of Elu'hymn, and in also the prophecies of Joel and the other prophets, and about His coming, and that He is the holy sovereign one whom is the sovereign of all the heavens, and also of the earth, and that He is the sovereign King, whom is called Elu'hymn, whom is soon to come, and that it's just about time that we all would see His comet coming in the heavens. Friends, would you now say this simple prayer asking the Sovereign One to save you and your family and your loved ones? Now if you believe in would you now please recite this simple prayer? O Sovereign One, whom is called would you now please save me? I now can see the prophecies of the end times that are now been fulfilled, about your coming. Thank you for saving me. O the Holy Sovereign One. Thank you, my Sovereign Elu'hymn. Amen. Amen. To be continued. The end.